Today we're going to be replacing the gearbox mount on my Talbot Express, which lurks just there to the rear of the gearbox. And you may be able to see that I've got the vehicle jacked up by means of ramps, and we've got a jack in place with a block of wood to support the gearbox. So we'll just put a bit of tension on that. So before we start, we'll just hit these bolts with a bit of penetrating spray, just to make things nice and easy. Now the larger of the two bolts, the other side, is welded on. So we've got a 19mm socket there and a flexible bit to a knuckle, just so I can get the impact gun in. And it's unravelling the bolt, so that's good news. What I've decided to do with these two 17mm bolts is I need the knuckle to access the higher one. I just want to spin them round just to make sure they're not stuck in the casing. So both nice and free, but the half-inch drive flexible knuckle was the saviour of the day. And that's all three of the bolts out with their respective nuts and spring washers. So it should just be a case of wiggling that off. So we've got the new bush here. Now they do come in two different sizes. I believe this is a 70mm, and I think there's an 85. So if we take a quick measurement, you can see the diameter is 70mm, and on the replacement we're in the pretty much the same place, maybe a mil astray with the positioning of the ruler there. Now when it's fitted, it's really difficult to get that measurement. You have to remove it to get that measurement. But what I went on was the 85mm's got some captive nuts here and here. So I think it's actually this side where the captive nuts are. So if you don't have captive nuts, there's only two choices: the one with captive nuts or the one without. Now I'm told if you can see daylight through these, they're pretty much shot, and I'm pleased to report that this may well be shot. And there's a bit of a tear on the lower right there, which I'm sure gets worse with use. So another test is just to see how much you can move it by hand, and this is the old one, which I think I'm doing a fairly good job of moving this one by hand, and the new one, apart from rocking it on the ground, I can hardly move it. So definitely this one should have been working a bit harder, like that one. You can actually see the tear there. When it had the weight of the gearbox on, that was more apparent. And on the flip side, a very tiny tear there. Hopefully this should just go straight up into position. Yeah, there's a bit of friction there in that bracket. We can knock that up with a hammer and reposition it. Yeah, we're getting there. So I'll get a bolt in perhaps there, and we'll align the other bolt. Well, in order to fit those lower two bolts, I've had to raise the jack up perhaps 3mm, something like that. So I think it was definitely sagging with the old mount. And this is the bit where a struggle will occur to get the largest rearmost bolt in. So what I tend to do is push quite a meaty, thick screwdriver in the other side, centralise things while simultaneously pushing this bolt through. So we can adjust the angles by moving the screwdriver up and down, side to side, and hopefully that will centralise the inner of the bushing so we can push that bolt through. So I've got the screwdriver through. We'll just wiggle it around. You might have to adjust the jack height, take a bit of weight off, put a bit of load on, etc. So that's the gearbox mount nearly fitted. Now I did have to drop a bit of weight off the jack to do that. The screwdriver method hasn't failed me yet, so I'll wiggle that through. The screwdriver just got pushed out, It does actually work better with a Phillips or a posi drive, and we're nearly there, so we'll just keep turning and pushing, and hopefully it'll start on the thread the other side. Just keep checking it, make sure you're not turning it around for fun. Yeah, that's going. Not too difficult. Then we'll nip the nuts up on the other side, just with a 17mm socket, and you may have to put a 17mm span around the other side. I'll just take some slack up before I do that, and give everything a good nip up. So I'm just in the van now with the clutch depressed, and what I really want to check is, can I get reverse? And I can get reverse with great ease, and every other gear it goes in reasonably well, so that can only be good news. Now, the new replacement gearbox mount came at a cost of £18, around £18 from eBay. Many thanks for watching, and why not subscribe to learn of more low cost repair solutions. And do check out my Talbot playlist. I've got quite a few videos on the Talbot Express that may be of interest to you. I'll put a link in the description.